everyone. My name is Tianhua. I'm a senior government and linguistics double major here at SMUS. As an international student originally from Shanghai, China, I came to the US for the first time 4 years ago, and I started learning German at SMUS in my first year and went to Hamburg for a semester in my junior year. The idea of learning German first entered my mind when I was watching a film, in which there was a scene where the protagonist of a German descent was talking English while listening to the news in television, which I then believed was in German. And he then acted according to the information he got from the news. I thought it was super cool to be able to multitask like that and to glean information using both English and German. So I just decided to study a language on the side in my first year of college. Probably I should have concentrated on improving my English at the time because I was a total newcomer to this environment. But the academic freedom here really inspired me to be greedy and to try out all sorts of things like logic, political theory, even literature in addition to German. All went on well, except one rather embarrassing point. That is, not so long ago, when I watched that film again, I realized the news was actually in French. How could I possibly mistaken French for German, which are two completely different languages? Not so surprising though, if you consider when I first came here, I sensed no difference between American and British accent. My point is, I believe language learning really opens one's ears and eyes. Not until I started delve into the field of the realm of foreign language did I really notice those nuances between and within languages. Start laughing at all sorts of translation errors or inside jokes, and to pay more closer attention to people's intonations and those emotions conveyed by their utterances, or even overhearing conversations of people walking by on streets or sitting at the next table. The last example may sound a bit creepy, but please just think of me as an objective and well-meaning code collector. I've been afraid of opening my ears to the outside world for a long time, but as a language learner, I really pushed myself to stay avid for the quotes people threw at you, intentionally or not. Because after all, the more quotes you collect, the easier you can find patterns and decipher them. This is why I think it's most beneficial and also efficient to learn a language by really using it to pursue your interests. I believe the pivot point of my learning German was when I started using this language to for other purposes. For example, in my second year of learning German, I started read The Visit, Der Besuch der alten Dame, or watching German musicals, for which I remained a huge fan up to this date. Remember what I mentioned, all those different interdisciplinary things I tried in my first year? They became my laboratories of language use as the carrier of thoughts when I studied abroad. In Hamburg, I was able to use the language to read Max Weber for my territory theory course, to give a presentation on Hirschsprung's literature, to do research in linguistic field methods, and to study Hamburg's early history as a merchant state. That's when my language skills really took off. But that is not to say that I happily accomplished all those things simply by overhearing conversations. Immersing oneself in the environment is helpful, but only a start. It's more about the entire box of used batteries for my electronic dictionary. It's about the hours I spend in the noisy and shaky train or subway carriages reading, or about the painstaking grammar checks that costed me double or triple time to write just about anything. The story I just told you shouldn't be just about me though. I've been thinking what you can take away from this short speech. I think as a multilingual, I can confirm that language skills do get transferred, which means your native language skills can even be honed once you take a closer look at it from a meta-linguistic level. And it gets easier if you study a second foreign language. For example, my familiarity with language parts, transitive or intransitive verbs, adverbs versus adjectives really gave me a head start in understanding the more complicated structure or conjugation in German. And skills can even be transferred beyond the field of language. I learned how to search for resources, find help, and deal with communication barriers. And I have more confidence in adapting to unfamiliar environments and more appreciation of the accumulative learning curves for the acquisition of any skills. And I can also pretend better, like now. Concealing one's private feelings like stress or fear or self-consciousness in order to be a more effective communicator. So I encourage you to study language or languages not as an end in itself, but as a set of transferable knowledge that can be useful, helpful beyond its immediate utilities. That's all. Thank you for your attention.